We start off with Foreign Minister Sameh Shoukry's speech at the UN Security Council, which was given earlier today, and the Security Council that he spoke about the fact that there has been numerous aggressions and numerous grievances when it comes to the Palestinian side, when it comes to the Israelis doing a lot of things such as illegal settlements, aggressions, provocations that led to the point that we're at today, and that Egypt has long said that this will lead to an increase on an escalation when it comes to the situation there. He spoke about the right of Palestinians to a state of their own. He spoke about the immense backlash that the public is seeing when it comes to the amounts and the numbers of innocent civilians that have been left dead because of the war on Gaza. And he spoke a lot about the situation there and how dire it actually is. Also earlier, he spoke during a joint press conference at the UN Security Council, and he reviewed the vision of Cairo, its assessment of the dangers in the military escalation in Gaza. He also called for an immediate and permanent ceasefire in Gaza, as well as an end to the Israeli siege. The top diplomat reviewed efforts to protection of the Palestinian civilians there. And as you can see right now, this is the Saudi foreign minister speaking at the UN Security Council.
To seriously revive the peace process that is credible. We are working for the future of our region, a better future for our region. We do hope that the region will enjoy peace, that prosperity will be guaranteed for all, and a better future will be guaranteed for the peoples of the region and succeeding generations. This is the peace that we aspire to, a sustainable peace that would guarantee the two-state solution and the establishment of a Palestinian state along the lines of 1967 that would achieve security, stability, and prosperity for all. I thank you.
I thank His Highness Prince Faisal for his statement. I now give the floor to His Excellency Mr. Jean Asselborn, Minister of Foreign European Affairs of Luxembourg.
Merci, Monsieur.
Thank you, President. Thank you for having invited me to participate in this open debate. Nothing can justify the atrocities committed by Hamas terrorists and Islamic Jihad against Israeli civilians on the 7th of October. This barbarity that has shaken the world is something we condemn in the strongest terms. Luxembourg reaffirms unequivocally Israel's right to defend itself within the framework of international law.
And that was part of the speech of the Saudi foreign minister on the situation there in Gaza. We're joined right now over the phone by Ambassador Gamal Bayoumi, the former assistant foreign minister. Good evening to you, sir.
Good evening. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for joining us. Sir, how did you view the speech that was given by Foreign Minister Sameh Shoukry? It was quite lengthy and quite clear in terms of the Egyptian view when it comes to the Gaza conflict.
It is another very important occasion in order to show our problem and disaster situation in the Middle East and the massacre against our brothers in Palestine, especially in Gaza. And we are doing all our efforts in order to support our brothers who are fighting for their life in Gaza and Palestine in general. So after the successful conference at Cairo, where we performed also all the opinions there, but after the failure of the Security Council last week to adopt the Russian proposal for resolution, asking to stop killing, they were not asking anything which annoys Israel or the state.
Yes.
Anyway, now really there is a very good appearance and strong performance, either from Egypt or our brothers from all the Arab world, supporting us the whole African continent, supporting us, the group of 77 of the developing countries, which is 139 countries. All of these countries are sympathizing the situation of Gaza and the Palestinians. I am not excluding friends in Europe or in America or anywhere else. But this is the main power behind the Palestinian question.
Yes, sir.
So I hope this will take place,
Yes.
that the mass media will give its intention to explore what is happening in a truthful way.
Mr. Ambassador, the Prime Minister, the Foreign Minister said that that Egypt is calling for a settlement to the Palestinian issue, and this is a quote, saying that liquidation through forced displacement is not the solution, and what is happening now is an accumulation of policies aimed at perpetuating the illegal occupation. What do you think of this statement, and do you think that this may have fell on deaf ears when it comes to Western countries, because they seem very unequivocal when it comes to how they view the situation?
Our minister is absolutely right, and he's exploring what is in the real life, because we are living a disaster, but at the same time, it is a sort of a joke. People in Israel are asking Palestinians, the owner of the land, to leave their own country and their own home to live in another country, to invite a Russian Jew or an American Jew or a Jew coming from Europe, where his grandfather have never seen Palestine or had no relation with Palestine.
Yes.
Palestine, it was a part of the Egyptian history when Prophet Musa left Egypt with his followers, and he went there. Then the grandsons of those people of Musa, they are the Palestinians now, but they became Muslims. Yes. I cannot expect, I do not accept or imagine that a Russian Jew have any relation with Palestine.
Yes.
So this is really a sort of false history, a false story, and unfortunately that some big powers are behind it and they support it for another reason, not because it is true, but because when Napoleon came to visit Palestine, he invited the Jewish community of Europe to come and occupy this part of the world in order to divide the Arab world into two parts, one, the Arab Maghreb and the Arab of Mashriq. So we will never accept this, and the most important thing now is to stop killing and to supply the Palestinians with what they need of water and food and medicine. And then we start pushing the whole world and convincing our neighbors, the Israelis, that it is not in their own benefit to continue this killing situation.
Yes.
Because as a matter of fact, the two-state solution, according to what the President of the United States said, is the only solution suits Israel. Imagine with me what will happen after 20 years from now if we continue with having one state. More than half of it are Palestinians, and the Israelis hate them, and they occupy the Golan Heights of Syria, and they are starting to act as an enemy to all their neighbors.
Yes.
What a future is this?
Yes, but Mr. Ambassador, on the other side, I mean, obviously the Arab position in general is quite unequivocally adamant about the fact that there has to be an immediate ceasefire, and that going back to the two-state solution is the only way out of the continued escalations and the continued violence happening there. And on the other side, we see the Western countries basically disregarding whatever is happening now in Gaza, disregarding the intense and immense amounts of violence happening there, and just talking about the Israelis having the right to defend themselves. do you believe that given the current situation and the current way that the Western Hemisphere is thinking, that the possibility of de-escalating the situation is actually possible, given that they're completely supporting the Israeli side, funding them, in addition to giving military aid as well? Do you think that this will help or deter in any way?
I don't know. I don't see really the rationale behind what Israel and her supporters are thinking. They think that they can talk to us in a nice way and to start to normalize the relation between the rest of the Arab world and Israel. And while doing this, at the same time, they rob the Palestinian land. We will never accept this, even they will lose the Egyptian people. And the trick here is what Sadat was trying to do. I was trying to do myself when I was in charge of the Israeli file at the Foreign Office. We want to convince the Israelis that it is for their own favor that they live in a country where they live in a friendly way, in a friendly situation with their neighbors and with their citizens within the country. Otherwise, there isn't a future for Israel. It's not me who is saying that. It is the Jewish community in the United States also are fed up with what Israel is doing.
Yes.
So
yes.
let us wait and see and have full patience but full support to the Palestinian push.
Mr. Ambassador, the issue, I don't know if you agree with this statement, but do you think that the issue here is the fact that the Israeli side is never actually held accountable for their actions and are basically given the green light to do whatever they want? Do you believe that if the West decides at some point that they will hold the Israelis accountable for their actions, there may actually be the ability to create the two-state solution actually in reality?
Yeah, according to my experience, and I visited the Palestinian land several times, I think that there are Israelis who make reason. You can talk to them, and they are convinced that if they gain the friendship of Egypt, this is a very good deal for them. So we have to convince them that this policy which they are adopting will lead them nowhere. No country can continue in a situation of hatred with all its neighbors and with half of their citizens. No way. But I believe that you can see here and there some reasonable Israel. I would go to the top because I met.
The current government is not really reasonable.
Shimon Peres was a man who can talk reason.
Yes.
That's why he was the man who signed the treaty with Egypt, the treaty with Jordan, and the treaty with Yasser Arafat in Oslo. We are not asking Israel to abide to the international law. We are asking Israel to abide to their own signatures on the Oslo Treaty in 1993.
Yes. Sir, finally, could you tell us what you thought of the joint press conference when it came to the Arab ministers that was held on the sidelines of the UN? They spoke about the Arab position when it comes to Gaza.
Yes, it's a good occasion also to show the Arab solidarity. The Arabs are standing strong behind the Palestinian cause, and we are not something light. We are 22 countries, 400 million. We are almost as the number of Europe, and we are very effective in our area, and no way that anybody in the world can neglect our position.
Okay, Ambassador Gamal Bayoumi, thank you so much for joining us. That was Ambassador Gamal Bayoumi, the former Assistant Foreign Minister, giving us his insight and his take on what was happening at the UN Security Council earlier. And unfortunately, this brings us to the end of the Nile TV Newsroom Live, which was a special coverage given what is happening right now in Gaza and the UN Security Council. Thank you for watching and stay tuned for more.